What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new, hi, my name is Elizabeth, and this is The Joyful Sojourn, a community of people that love sharing life together and really love stationery and planning. So if that sounds like it's up your alley, then I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. Keep in mind that the voice that you're hearing today is sick Elizabeth. I am very sick, but I could not leave the 25 days of planner tips, folks, without day 23. So we got to move forward, and I just need to remember to film in advance next year if I'm asked to participate again. Like I said, 25 days of planner tips. This is day number 23. The theme this year is planner switching, tips to successfully switch planner systems. I will link down below all of the channels participating this December. And if you're jumping in on my video, you are welcome to go down in the description box and check out days 1 through 22, and then continue on the road to December 26th with the videos linked down below as well. So 25 days of planner tips, switching planner systems. I'm sure that we have heard a lot of wonderful tips about migrating from one planner system to another. Today, I really want to focus on more of the decorative elements. So if you're a decorative planner, specifically moving from a discbound planner to a less flexible seeming planner, maybe a bookbound planner or a coil twin loop planner, this video I hope is going to be helpful for you, because I have done a bit of planner hopping over the last year and have learned several things. So let's just get into it. Most people choose a discbound planner because of its ultimate flexibility. You can take pages in and out. When it comes to decorating, you can pull the page out and then you've got a nice blank canvas. You don't have to fight with the discs. You can flip the page anyway. It's lovely. If you make a mistake and you want to add paper in, you can just punch it and pop new pages in. You are only limited by the size of your discs. You can add as many pages in that will fit on your discs. So the discbound system, no doubt the absolute most customizable option out there. I think rings are also very flexible as well, but the discbound system, just being able to pull a page out without having to pull open or do anything with the binding, I think makes it the most flexible. But you might be moving into a stage of your life where you want something maybe less bulky, you want something on the go, you want something that feels a little hardier and permanent. That's certainly something that I've been feeling a lot lately. And so you might be jumping into a different, excuse me, I just threw that on the ground. Very unladylike. You might be moving into something different. I'm going to start with the easiest tip, and that is for those that are moving into a discbound or from a discbound to a twin loop. This is the easiest transition because you can actually cut. I'm not going to do this with this one because I've already done it, but you just take your scissors and you can cut in between each loop, basically cutting into your square. And that allows you to pull your page off. Okay, very, very easy. It mimics that experience of a discbound planner. If you have a little bit more money in the bank for your hobby, you can actually purchase punches that do this type of punch. I have the We Are Memory Keepers cinch punch in the Heidi Swap version. The Heidi Swap version gives you the square punch. I think the regular We Are Memory Keepers cinch punch does circles. It doesn't really matter. You can mix and match, but I'm someone that likes to be consistent. So I did get the Heidi Swap version. It was expensive, I'll just say that. But if you really want to mimic the customizing experience of a discbound with your twin loop, and you're pretty sure that you want to stick with this style of coil, then you might want to get the cinch punch. And then just remember, you can cut your pages. In the particular example here with the Laurel Denise planner, she actually has inserts that, I wonder if I have an insert in the back of this one. I don't think I do. No, but she sells inserts for her planners that are reinforced with plastic and are cut. And so if you want to add additional weeklies, if you want to add additional monthlies, if you want to add note pages, project pages, memory keeping pages. She actually sells those as inserts. And so you can have your regular Laurel Denise planner, and then you can pop in inserts that she sells in the shop. This is not an ad for Laurel Denise, but Joyful 10 will save you 10% off at Laurel Denise if you want to try kind of a mid jump between a discbound and a coil with the flexibility of inserts. So tip 1, I guess we could say, is cut your pages between the loops so that you can take your page in and out. And if you have a little bit more to spend, get the We Are Memory Keepers Heidi Swap punch, which will give you that punch on pages you want to add to your planner. The next tip is going to be for those of you that are switching from a discbound into a paper, a planner that has a different type of paper than you're used to. You're going to see in like the Hobonichi, in the Sterling Ink, Tomoe River paper community, a lot of people do pen test pages. The reason they do that is because they want to see how their pens perform on this paper. This is really important if you're moving from a Happy Planner to a Sterling Ink planner or a Hobonichi planner. Your pens that you love are going to perform differently because the paper is different. So Happy Planner paper is going to be a little bit thicker. It's going to be a little bit toothier. The Tomoe River paper, these Japanese papers, are very thin. They are like Bible thin papers. They are not toothy. They are very smooth. And so inks tend to take a little bit longer to dry, and you do have ghosting and bleeding depending on what you're using. So my second tip is to make sure you have a dedicated page or two in your new planner at the back of your planner to swatch out some of your favorite pens, because there's nothing more annoying than setting up a super cute spread in your planner and you're reaching over to grab something really quickly and your ink smears because you didn't realize, oh, it needs 10 seconds to dry. So you need to kind of start making that mental shift that not only is your binding system different, but the paper that you're using is different and your pens are going to perform differently. So make sure you create that pen swatch test. And my hope, I know for me, because I am going to be using a Sterling Ink planner in the new year, to fall in love with ghosting. I know I see a lot of excuse me, chatter in the community. Oh, like, oh, my pen smudged, or my pen is ghosting in my Happy Planner. So there's this negative connotation with ghosting. And I think if you can start to see that, especially if you're making the jump into a thin paper, you're going to have ghosting. If you can make that transition to come to love what ghosting means, that you can see that your pages are lived in, it'll make that transition easier. Because I know we're aesthetic people. We like things to look nice and clean. And if you think of this as like a lived in planner and start to love that, it won't bother you as much. And I've certainly found that to be true over the last few months as I have been working in this traveler's notebook. This is the Lauren Phelps Designs. It's mostly note pages, some monthlies at the front, but I've really started to love the way that ghosting looks. So it doesn't bother me as much, but it is a mental hurdle that you're going to have to jump through in transitioning from one planner system to another. Let's get to Tipins. My next tip is about Tipins. If you've been in the Discbound community, you may have missed the memo about Tipins because you've never had to quite do it this way. If you're working in a bound planner, Tipins are a way to add additional pages or to fix mistakes. So a Tipin example here in the Hemlock and Oak, I have glued in a piece of vellum as an overlay, a decorative overlay on my vision board with the Joyful Sojourn over top. Definitely get a stash of vellum papers. You can get these on Amazon. Print them on your printer, but make sure you let it sit on your tray for a few minutes just to make sure that it fully dries, because yeah, the ink can smear if you grab it too quickly. So this is a decorative vellum tip-in that I've added in, and it just is a way to customize this book a little bit more to make it feel lived in and mine and personalized. Okay. Now, there are two different things that I have here that I use for tip-ins. One is tip-in tape. This is from Lauren Phelps Designs. It is a double-sided tape, and you can attach part of the tape on your tip-in page. The other part glues down or sticks down to the paper that, or the journal itself. And probably my favorite, I feel like it's the easiest. This is Zig 2-way glue, very helpful glue. It goes on blue when it is gonna be at its stickiest or most permanent. So lay it down, it's gonna be blue, put your page down and, you know, press it in, it'll dry and it's not going anywhere. This is the glue I used for this guy and it's been like this all year and it's been like perfectly fine. So I would recommend this. This is a secondary option. It just takes a little bit more finesse in using, but they're both at your disposal. Now, that is kind of adding a decorative element. Let me show you another decorative element. If you're in an Archer and Olive, if you're wanting to play a little bit, you can use notepad paper if you've got like a notepad. And if you want to use something with a pop of color, here I tipped in a piece of blue cardstock, and that kind of blackout look or blue outlook is really fun with the acrylograph pen. So here I just made a insert for January and I used that glue and I just glued it into the notebook. So this is another way that you can add kind of a decorative element to your bound planner or to your journal. Now let's talk about how do you fix mistakes. Now, I think a lot of people will be afraid to jump into an Archer and Olive notebook or to do bullet journaling or really any bound planner because you're afraid you're going to make a mistake. So let's just play for a second. Let's say I'm making my layout and I spell Friday wrong. Friday. Oh no, I've spelled Friday wrong. Whatever will I do? I've totally messed this up. There are tons of ways that you can fix this without taking the page out. But again, I want to share with you this idea of Tipins. And so what you could do is actually cut out the page. And this is a way that you can add thicker papers to your bound planner. So I'm going to just cut the page out. Don't be afraid to cut your pages. Cut the page out, okay? You made a boo-boo, it's okay. Just cut it out. Now, I'm going to take whatever paper I have, whatever I want. I can go to this notepad. Now, this is an A5 notepad, so the paper is going to fit really well. But just for kicks, I'm going to use this guy. This is one of the smaller list notepads. And I'm going to tip it in to fix my mistake. So because I have some residual paper here, I can actually just put the glue down on that leftover paper. And I'm going to pop this page in and push it up against the glue. And let it sit there. Let it dry. And here I've just replaced my boo-boo page with a good page. So if you're moving into a bound planner, you can fix mistakes by cutting the page out and inserting another page. Now, that's really easy to do when you're moving into a bullet journal or really any kind of journal that doesn't have a set layout. I know that's going to be trickier if you're in like a Sterling ink planner. I wouldn't use that method in a Sterling ink planner, but you can certainly do it in bound journals like this. So here you can see, here is a little tip in. I've just fixed my mistake by adding a page. And, you know, this is really thick paper, but I'm not worried about it because I removed a page. If you're going to remove a page, then you can add a page of similar thickness. But if you're going to remove a page, or if you're not going to remove a page, that's where I would use the vellum. So again, I'm trying to share with you ways to keep customizing and decorating your planners, even though they're not disc bound. Let's now talk about the actual decorating of a planner. This is the AMW Zenbu planner. Let me zoom in a little bit. This is another one of those planners that has a thin Japanese paper, and I want to decorate this. This is going to be for faith journaling, faith planning. I do have a full flip through of this, or a setup video on my channel, so you can check that out if you want to see how I'm using this in the new year. But let me jump to a something that we can actually decorate, because I do want to show you that it takes some some modification to decorate your bound planners. Here we have a box down here that I know I want to use for deco. I want to decorate this box. Now, you're going to want to use different things to kind of stabilize your planner, and clips are really helpful. So if you have a planner that isn't quite laying flat yet because you're at the beginning of it, make sure you have clips that, of course, there we go, that can kind of help stabilize the page. If you don't want, you know, these pages to bounce around, kind of just throwing these down to show you, but having clips is helpful to kind of stabilize the page. So I'm going to leave that one there. The tips when it comes to decorating this kind of planner are really simple, and there's two. There are going to be times that I'm going to want to add deco along this edge. If you are in a Discbound planner, you would be able to just take the page off and kind of move things the way you want. My first tip is to just rotate your whole planner. Get comfortable with rotating your planner to get it where you want it to go. Okay, so move it around. Don't, you know, try to just stay like this and do this. Move your planner. Very simple tip. Now, on a Discbound page, I'm likely to just lay the sticker down and then cut it off the page. That's going to be really, really easy, right? Because if you've got a Discbound page, you can just do this and then cut. If you're working with this kind of planner, it's much easier to cut your sticker first. So cut your stickers first and use tweezers to lay as close as possible your straight edge to the edge of the paper. And then you're not dealing with like, oh, you got to cut like right like this. You know, that can get really awkward. So however you are comfortable, cut your stickers before you lay them down. I have found that to be way, way more helpful with decorating. So here I'm going to, cut my stickers first. I want all these to fit inside this box. So, and once you kind of get into the habit of cutting your stickers first, it kind of gets, I want to say like addicting, or you get more and more familiar with it, that it's so much easier to work with a flat edge or a straight edge. So this is already a straight edge. So I'm just going to line it up to the box like that. So cut your stickers before you lay them down. Otherwise, you're going to have a weird space to navigate. The other tip when it comes to decorating is if you decide to go rogue on me, guys, and you don't cut your stickers first, or you've got a sticker over the edge here, make sure that you have, and I should have grabbed this first, make sure that you have some sort of, I have a bunch of different kinds, I'll just grab this one. Make sure that you have a corner punch. This is going to be more helpful if you are working with a planner or a journal that has a rounded edge. But if you're tipping in a page or you're adding a sticker and you've got excess, trim off the excess sticker as close as you can, but then actually punch to clear off the rest of it. That's not going to be helpful in this particular planner because the corners are straight, so you're going to have to cut it, you know, as close as possible to the page. But that is helpful if you're working with rounded edges. Make sure that you have yourself a corner punch to finish it and to get that sticker to fit. Because sometimes I'll put a sticker down and I'll just kind of trim off. I'll go kind of willy-nilly to kind of follow the shape of the paper, and it looks a little wonky. So make sure you get yourself a corner punch to get a nice crisp corner punch. Let me just see if there's any other images I want to add, and then I think we should call it a video. I just don't want people to be afraid of bound planners because, no, I don't want to do that one. It's too big. I don't want people to be afraid of bound planners because of fear of messing them up. You know what I mean? You're not going to mess it up. You just have to make some mental shifts. We talked about cutting our twin loop pages, getting that not power disc punch, the We Are Memory Keepers punch if you want to add pages to that twin loop style. Tip-ins, using glue or tip-in tape to add pages or to fix mistakes. And then not being afraid to rotate your planner as you're decorating and to pre-cut your stickers to butt them up against straight edge pages. And then lastly, but actually I think it was first, pen swatches. Make sure that you are testing out papers with your favorite pens. All right, friends, I'm sorry I was all over the place, but I hope that this was helpful and you learned some decorating and voiceover Elizabeth here, because I forgot two very important tips that I've learned switching from a Discbound planner to a Bookbound planner. First, if you are moving into a bullet journal, use stencils and stamps to create your spreads. You do not have to do it alone and it's not as intimidating. Second, if you're moving into a Tomoe River paper planner or something with thinner paper with limited space, use washi material stickers and use stamps. They will cut down the bulk in your planner. Questions, leave them down below. Please make sure that you check out the other videos in the 25 days of planner tips and come hang out with me over on Instagram. My handle is The Joyful Sojourn. Until next time, friend, God bless you. God bless you and keep you do something creative today. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.